360 conversation, has came back up, and this is by way of Hot 97's DJ Funk Flex. Pretty much went on a rant coming at Dame Dash. Pretty much said that the man who created the 360 deal, Leor Cohen, if it wasn't for him, that Rockefeller, pretty much he saved Rockefeller from a grave, as well as other people. So this is where you come in, because I've seen people even making videos, saying that 360 is not that bad. It depends, this, that. So we wanted to bring somebody in who knows. I don't know a lot about it. I know a little bit, but you know a lot about it. So we kind of want to get into the mechanics of the 360 deal and just, talk about, is this good or bad? Because it's different. A lot of people say a lot of different things. So I'm going to let Brother Khonsu, break it down from the inception. Microphone is yours, brother.
Yeah, man. If I had an opportunity, if I had a perfect, if I could just snap my fingers and make things happen, man, I would kill the 360, obliterate it to the heavens, because it's a horrible, horrible, horrible entity. The 360 deal and Leor Cohen, they created it out of merchandising. They had to find a way to monetize a musical performance and get the most out of it. Make the most money. How can we make the most money without exuding the most overhead? How can we make the most money without having to invest in the artist? What if the artist is okay and they can generate at least one hit? We can optimize that money, and we can always guarantee that we get our rate of return on investment. That's what the 360 deal does. I really, really do appreciate Dame Dash, man. Dame Dash and what he's talking about right now. Artists, up-and-coming artists that follow this show and other platforms like it, stop signing the labels. Flat out, period. Record labels are dead. I can say this. I know it's a lot of artists that probably want to say it and don't say it. Stop signing the artists, number one. Stop signing the artists who start labels, because they're worse than Leor Cohen. But we won't even go there. They're worse than Leor Cohen. You are your own label. You can have your own label from your kitchen. Okay, it's 2019. You can have your own production studio, your own distribution center, your own publicist. You can be your own manager. You don't need any of those peripherals to cut out of your pot, your economic pot. And this is what Dame Dash was trying to express. I would rather be $1 million boss than a $14 million employee, because the 360 can generate funds, but the funds are allocated before you have the ability to net those funds, to take that money in. You have to be accountable for it first. There's a thing called account payable and accounts receivable. You have to be liable for money loaned to you on the premise of capital gain. So if I'm the record label and I offer you a 360, that means that I'm taking a piece of your performance. Not only am I taking your production, the end result, I'm taking your ingenuity. I'm taking whatever you may write in the future. I'm taking any collaborative efforts that you may have. Me and God may meet up and say, man, I got a hot concept for a single, but my label is going to have to take 25% of what me and you do. And God is going, but hell, I'm not signing your label. Why should I suffer? So what ends up happening is me being tied into the 360. I got to give up more percentage just to bring God in, because I got to go to my label and ask permission for God to come and do a collabo with me on something that me and him created. This is what the 360 creates. And what the situation with Dame and Leor Cohen really represents is the systematic oppression that is being done in hip hop. I'm not talking about any other genre. I'm talking about hip hop, man. Hip hop is a fairly new industry that has taken over the music industry. It's bigger than pop. It's bigger than rock. It's bigger than heavy metal. It's bigger than any other genre right now. It's been that way going on 15 years strong. And so when young black children come along and they bring the gift of hip hop to music, and you have someone outside of your culture that's manipulating and marketing your music under what's considered distribution, and then turns around and says, I want 360 degrees of everything that you produce in your musical career, it's absolutely criminal, man. It's criminal. And I'm so fortunate to witness this changing, man. I'm fortunate to witness the music industry becoming a free market industry. People like Travis Scott that are changing the way that artists are being paid is extremely important.
Couldn't agree more. You said a lot of things that I wanted to touch on throughout this interview. One thing in particular, you talked about artists signing to other artists and independent labels. Now, for those of you who don't know, Khonsu, I don't even know family if you know this, I'm an R&B artist. I'm currently signed to an independent label, been signed for some time. And throughout my journey with the independent label, I won't put their name out there, I've realized through being signed with them that, man, they're no better than a fucking label. They're no better than a major label. If not, they may be worse. Because not only are they providing zero money or zero capital to their artists, but then they want to own everything that the artist creates. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? I know you said you didn't want to get into it. Please do.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's called niche marketing. If I know that you're an artist, you represent a certain niche in music, what I'm doing is I'm becoming an angel investor, and I'm sequestering you and owning you like real estate. I'm going to own your potential, and I'm going to distribute it as I see fit, regardless if it belongs to you. So it's capital. So I'm treating you like a piece of real estate, and I'm renting you out depending upon the situation. So you're an R&B artist. Let's say you're a talented writer, you're a talented singer. Let's say you got a market share. You got 10,000 followers on Instagram. Well, I'm going to make sure that I sequester you and market you to those 10,000 people under the auspicity of my ownership so that I can isolate that money for myself. I'm not going to allow you to take your talent and your real estate and go and trade with somebody else. I lose the chance of having ownership with you. And that's what makes independent labels very dangerous. So when we're talking about today, a musical artist of today, you need a publishing company. You need to be a union member. So that's ASCAP or BMI. You need to set up an LLC. When you set up your LLC, you need to set up a DBA, which is a doing business as account, a business account. When you set up those 4 elements, then you want to set up a publishing house. When you set up a publishing house, all your works, all your masters, everything needs to be recorded through that publishing house, which is the LLC, and then you sell it per capita to a label. Okay, you want this song right here? You want my talent right here? It's an upfront fee, and then we go 50-50, 60-40, whatever. We do a performance partnership based on contingencies. That's what that's what Rockefeller did. People thought Rockefeller was signed to Def Jam. No, they were partners because they owned the rights to the masters prior to. And see, that was innovative work done by Dame and Biggs. That was innovative work that they did. It was ahead of their time. And that's why I got so much respect for Dame and those guys, because they understood it. They understood the marketing behind it, because it gives you the back end flexibility to market your stuff the way that you choose to market, because you actually own everything outright, and you're parlaying your ownership, not just your talent. Because the only reason a label is what a label is because their ability to market and distribute at a lightning rate. But you got the internet right now. You could drop a single right now, and it hits every continent in less than 5 minutes. And people don't realize, like, companies like, man, can I say this? Because we're on this platform. Let me be smart right here. Okay. Multimedia platforms that use videos to distribute entertainment are still issuing 360 deals. The Facebooks and all of them are 360 deals. You come in, you put your video on the Facebook platform, right? You promote it. Well, meanwhile, there's ads flowing through your video. that you have no say-so in. You get 35%, they get 65%. Okay? Whether you agree to it or not, whether you say, I want, let's say, Google AdSense or not, they're going to get 100% advertising dollars without you participating because you're publishing on their platform. That's a 360 deal. That's Motown. That's Berry Gordy. That's the same deals that folks have been getting for the past 50 years. This is why the Temptations get mad. This is why Earth, Wind, and Fire could never be on the same page. They wasn't in-house fighting. They wasn't getting their bread. And that's really stretching it.
You know, I see some people in these independent labels, and like I said, I'm not going to put out anybody's name, but I want to get your perspective. A lot of independent labels, you'll see that the independent, or it's the CEO of that independent label, will sometimes go to its artist and also try to manage its artist as well as be the CEO. Talk about that a little bit. Does that help, hurt the artist? What does that do for the artist?
Yeah, that's actually, man, that's illegal. That's actually hedging. If you're going into, because what you're doing is you're going into a work for hire agreement. Most artists get a 1099 at the end of the year. You being signed to a label, I'm sure you're familiar. You get a 1099 because you're an independent contractor. So now you're an independent contractor, but the contractor you work for also wants to manage you. So now you got access to all my business affairs? No, that's a no-no. But it's done under the auspicity that you agree to it. You agree to it through management contract. So now you at work for hire. They pay you for each thing, everything that you do. Okay, you do a performance, you work for hire, we pay you. But then the third party that's also affiliated charges you 20%. So the money you getting from the deal, you giving 20% right back to the label. So now they taking 70%, 80% of your revenue because that manager works for the label. And then the manager is going to listen to the label because they're an employee of the label. So if you're telling your manager, yo, man, how come I'm not on any tours? Yo, man, how come I'm not getting any, I got an album coming out and we ain't doing no promo. Where's the college radio? How come, that's what, well, because what's the manager going to tell his boss? How you going to tell the manager to push you ahead, amigos? If you sign the QC and QC manages you, and you expect them to go back and tell QC, look, we need some of that market share money, that write-off money that y'all getting from Migos. We need y'all to bump Migos back a little bit for this guy to come out, so this guy can get. It's like praying for rain, man. It's like going outside praying for some rain, yo. It ain't gonna happen. It's not a wise move. The only manager you need is you. The only time you need a manager is when you start getting commas. When you got promoters paying you and you start traveling and you actually got a market share, which is a niche market of people that are consistently bringing money in, it's time to get a manager. But until then, you don't need no manager. Manage yourself. Very rarely do you need, what you gonna give 20% of nothing for? You ain't got no money, you're a broke artist. What are you paying them? You go and you do one quick show, you get $500 and you got to give him 20% of that and pay taxes on it. Remember, you work for ASCAP BMI. If they paying you because them speakers, whenever you go to a venue, artists that are listening, always look on the window, front doors, ask the promoter, is this an ASCAP venue? Is this a BMI venue? Because if you're an ASCAP artist, they got a Nielsen box on those speakers, or the DJ has a Nielsen box on their speakers. That means that you got publishing rights and rotation rights coming out them speakers. So not only do you supposed to get paid for that performance, why the hell would you give 20% to your manager for nothing? You getting paid. They getting paid through your royalties. You pay them later. But the manager's sitting right there right after the show. They want the 20% right then and there. How you gonna take 20% from me? This is an ASCAP venue, bro. I'm a union artist. I pay you on schedule. Every 2 months, 3 months, whenever the checks come out, whenever the royalty checks come, then I pay you, manager. You a struggling artist and you coming about your pocket. That's what happens to a lot of artists. They get hustle and flow like that.
Yeah, we was talking about remember the Tekashi 6ix9ine. I think we talked to you about that, and we seen that all his assets were frozen. But we see that they saying that he bought his girlfriend a G-Wagon and bought her a watch, which is a bro,
We talked about this. Yeah.
What do you think about that? Like, he's locked up and his assets are frozen. Still buying stuff. I don't, speak on that, bro.
Hey, I don't know if you remember, guys. We had did a show early, and I told you, 6ix9ine is not broke, bro. 6ix9ine ain't got just no 1 point something in the bank, yo. That's for the public. He trust and know that an artist on that level that started. See, 6ix9ine started in a way that artists should start. He was an independent free market artist, and he was overseas. And he didn't have to deal with a label. Drake was doing it in the past. He didn't have to deal with a label. So the money that you make is based on the money that you give yourself accountable for. It's like the Rockefellers, no pun intended. The Jewish family, the Rockefellers used to say, control everything, own nothing. If I control everything, I don't need to have ownership papers. If I control that car, if I got the keys to that car, I don't need to put my name on the title. If I could drive it whenever I want to. So he has corporate entities in place that are generating revenue that just don't have his name on it. But he has control of it. He has control of the assets. There's a difference between assets and liabilities. And that's what he's doing. So when the artist says I'm bankrupt, they're protecting their assets. That doesn't mean they don't have money. 50 Cent claimed bankruptcy. He's not broke.
Right now, we talked about it yesterday on the podcast. Is it smart for him or for whoever is promoting and publicizing all of these gifts, expensive gifts, to be doing so, especially when you have federal attention on your ass and things like that?